Start building some hurting bombs.
Pressing me? Because your authority is not recognized in Fort Kickass.
Oh, look, Doc, I just can't do it. I'll never learn to speak Greek.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I don't need no philosophy lesson here.
And I think that the spotlight should go on top of me. Yeah.
Master of misinformation, Mr. Know-It-All.
Is he always so cheerful?
See, you told everyone your deepest, darkest secret.
Gathered together from the cosmic reaches of the universe.
Just looking, thanks. I'll stand at the bar. I shouldn't wish to attract attention.
Don't get mentally erect.
Well, neither are you very much, sure.
This is the way.
I think it's good, except it sucks.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed.
That's an attention getter.
The tower of power, too sweet to be sour. I'm funky like a monkey. Sky's the limit and space is the place.
Are you ready?
Hey, and we are live right here tonight. Ali, Jamie's still on break, man. You always come in, you save the day, you scoop it up, and you know she appreciates it. But you know what? I'm like wicked tired. I'm getting really burnt out. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to walk off and leave you holding the bag. What do you think?
You sure you want? I'm here. I mean, take a nap. I'm good.
I need a vacation, man.
You do need a vacation. You do need a vacation,
dude. I'm saying, I told my boss today. I told Sally today because you know Sally and Mike from Toolmex Designing and Tooling, which is now an official sponsor of the Angrygeeks. Look at that. I told her today I just need a break, man. I'm like burnt out. But we got a special guest backstage, so there's no way that I could have did this because this cat sounds really cool. I mean, his book sounds really, really cool, and there's no way in God's green earth I was going to trust him with you because Jamie would kill me. You and Jamie, yes, but not by yourself. No.
I'm having you know I'm working on mine. You know what? Okay.
I do. Oh, look at Aviva comes in to save the day. Hi, Aviva. How are you? So the comments look like they're working tonight. Anyway, Ali, why don't you tell us a little bit about our guest tonight?
Our guest is a writer.
Yep.
Who is actually he is having called The Last Keeper.
Yeah.
JV Hilliard. Nailed it.
Yes, you did. Look at that. And he's got his book right up there. So you're in the beginning of your intro and your bio. It says that raised as a highlander in the foothills of the once great mountain chain of confluence of the three mighty rivers that forged his realm's wealth, great, and power for generations. That was riveting. That was sold right there. So was Ali. I was like, we gotta get this cat on because that's like badass. That's like I'm a huge wrestling fan. That's McIntyre right there. Let's get him on.
Because I mean, I'm down everything. I'm just saying, like, you know.
I got to be honest with you guys. First of all, I've never been on a show where I've heard at least two. First of all, the Macho Man. Oh yeah, you got that. That starts it up, and then I hear Triple H in the background. I've never been on a show with either or both of those as the lead in, and I think there was a third that I might be forgetting, but you know, you had me hooked there. So it was like mutual hooking, put it that way. But yeah, no. Well, what I tried to do was I tried to cast. You know, it's just a pet peeve of mine, right? Like I've been reading a lot over the years, and everybody has the same bio. I went to this school. I'm married to this person. This is my kids. And instead, I just basically I threw myself into my bio by making myself a chronicler of my fantasy realm. So what I did was I just put myself in the place of someone who was talking about the characters, and that I was from the realm of Warminster, as opposed to, if you decoded a lot of that stuff, you would realize you could kind of figure out where I am, right? So like Three Rivers, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm born of fire, black wind, and steel. I'm from Pittsburgh, a Highlander. That's where I went to high school, and things like that. So there's a lot of different things that I just kind of took out of there, twisted it into something, and made it more mystifying. And I'm glad you guys liked it. I really am. I'm glad you liked it.
I was hooked, man. I was like, oh my God, he's like from either Connor McLeod or Drew McIntyre. We got to get this cat on here for sure.
Well, my dog is named Connor McLeod, right? So
yes, no, and your other dog's name is Thor?
Thor, yeah. I got a Siberian Husky. His name is Thor. I mean, that's a pretty straightforward one. The other is a fight that my wife and I had when we got him. We both agreed that his name should be McLeod. But the traditionalist, like Connor McLeod, she likes Duncan McLeod because he's hotter, apparently. But I call him Connor. She calls him Duncan. He knows when we call him McLeod or Mac, and is what it is. But yeah, you figured me out pretty quickly.
Go ahead, Ali.
I let my coworker read your intro, and she was hooked. She was like this, like, oh, that's cool. Like this, like, okay. All right, we're gonna have a fun podcast. So
yeah, I hope so. I hope so. Glad she liked it too. I'll make sure she buys the book.
We're gonna give you time to pimp it out later. Now I feel bad, Ali. I feel bad now for not being in part of my look tonight. I kind of took it. I am drained. I'm super tired. So I am like half in my look tonight. So imagine if Joe saw me in full look with the cowboy hat and the sunglasses
I saw
tonight.
Something missing too. I was like, there's something missing. Like, but then
on you guys, I saw the honky tonk man on here. I saw you standing there with like I think it was a belt on. I saw the hat and the you kind of looked like a big Jimmy Hart. So I was okay with it.
Oh no. We do have the number one podcast in New England, in Western Massachusetts. We are number one in public access television, and doing what we do.
Well played. Yeah.
Jamie, Ali, and I, yes, we are number one. But definitely, and then number two is pretty soon, Faces and Heels podcast.
All right.
So, where did you come up with this book? Where did you come up with The Last Keeper?
So, look, we're all geeks, right? And I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons for about 20-something years. I know, I could see it in the background. And I had, it was a memorialization of many campaigns that I've either DM'd or played through. And, of course, it was, you can't use D&D or any other kind of role-playing game as sort of the set for the realm. So I created my own realm. I created my own monsters within the realm. I created my own magic system within the realm. But I left these little Easter eggs in there for friends and family that have played, in the past, so they can enjoy seeing some of their characters come to life or brought back to life in some cases, as part of it. And so it was a fun, memorialization of that experience. And I think that if anybody's ever played the game, that in many instances, they're just as real as real life experiences are. And so, it's the shared delusion among a group of friends. And, when COVID hit, I didn't have much else to do. I was shut down. I'm a DC lobbyist by day, and I didn't have anything to do for like a year. And my wife was like, "You're not doing nothing. Go in there and do something." So I went into my den, and a couple of months later came out The Last Keeper. So that's sort of like the story behind it. It's not super sexy, but it's 100% true.
Okay, now
go ahead, Lou.
No, I was just going to say book 4 is coming out soon, because you have now some of these names I'm going to just myrtleize. So Ali, as I'm trying to enunciate these words, go ahead with your question.
Okay, I was going to say, I was actually going to just add on to that. I noticed how a lot of people that during the pandemic, a lot of them just, they just, I almost want to say, adapt to it. Like, you know what? Okay, I can't go to my regular 9 to 5, but you know what? There's this thing I had in the back burner I've been wanting to work on for so long. You know, I'm in the house, don't know how long. Let me get on this typewriter or laptop and start putting some words together.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it went down. I mean, I'm not the kind of person to sit around and do nothing. And this has been something, like you said, it was stuck in the dark recesses of my mind for quite a long time. And so for me, you know, it was a way of using that downtime to be productive. And then it ended up turning into, when it got published, it ended up turning into a series of 4 books. So so what I expected, but it was what I dreamed of, and I'm glad I'm here.
So you started writing during the pandemic then? Because
Yeah,
I know there were 4 books. So
that's exactly right.
These bad boys out then.
Yeah, well, you know, it's epic fantasy meets dark fantasy, and you really can't write epic fantasy quickly. I mean, it by definition, it's lengthy. You're doing a lot of world building. You're also creating things that, you know, may not exist in a typical sword and sorcery or a one-off. Instead, you know, you see that that you really got to dig in deep and build these things so that there's a system around them. And when I took my original manuscript to my publisher, she said to me, you know, it's publishable, but you know, your kind of fantasy is often done in series, and we'd like for you to consider doing a series. And at the time it was 3, it bled into 4, and that's where it sits now. That doesn't mean there won't be more, but you know, for I think this set of characters, I've told the first story in those first 4 books.
All right, so she gave you a positive feedback. I know it's like because she said like, oh, we like it, we just want more of it.
Right. I mean, I think from a business perspective, she was thinking, you know, right down the middle on this, right? It was a strike. It's like, look, you know, you've got something that might work. We're willing to, you know, take a shot with you and publish this, but we want more than one because your readers will eventually want more than one. If you spend, and I try to, the way I explain it best is, you know, if you're writing a spy novel, you can say that Lewis got in the car and drove down the road, and everyone understands what that means, and you summarize it in 1 sentence. But in my world, you know, what color is the sun? What color is the sky? Are they in a carriage with horses? Are the horses like our horses? You know, is there magic involved in their travel?
You could literally decide to make the sun blue if you wanted to.
Right, you can do any. So you create this entire realm, and you know, when you get done, you just don't want it to end in 1 book. And she, I think, rightfully pointed out that it was time to take it and make it something greater. And you know, when you've got a year to do it, it was sitting in front of me, and I just decided to go for it. So yeah.
All right. My next question is, now you said a series of books.
Yeah.
So
yes.
Do you have a conclusion to this epic?
Oh yeah.
Journey?
Yeah. The 4th book will come out. It'll come out at the first quarter of next year. You know, the 2nd book launches in August of this year. The 3rd will be out right around the holidays. So I've already, and this is going to sound geeky, but I'm in a place for it, right? I'm in a safe place.
We are dating geeks.
You know, I write backwards. So as weird as this sounds, I wrote the end of the novel before I wrote the beginning.
Okay.
So you're like George Lucas.
Well, maybe. I don't know. Like mine's more obsessive compulsive. You know, so, like I don't like missing anything. So I'm a big planner. And when it comes to planning, you know, I have this giant whiteboard in my den that, you know, as I've sort of plotted everything out. I start erasing things once they're in the novel, and you can't do that starting from the beginning. You have to do that from the end and make sure everything's in, sort of like reverse engineering, you know. Okay. And it just I wanted to make sure that every piece of real estate in my novel meant something, and that I didn't leave any details out. So that's really kind of where, you know, that kind of came from. So yes, is the short answer to your question. I already know how everything ends. I'm not one of those writers that can sit down and write by the seat of their pants. I have to really plan everything. So maybe it's the old dungeon master in me. I don't know.
All right. So book 2 is Vordune's lair.
Yeah.
Vorden. Okay, I was pretty close.
Very close. Very close. I wasn't going to stop you. It was all right.
Well, thank you very much. And the second one is Tralala's Gambit. Did I say that right?
No, it's
of course not.
Trillius Gambit, right? Yeah.
Like magic.
Say that one more time.
Trillius.
Trillius. My God, this is like Game of Thrones start.
Where do you get that one from? Hey, Denise.
Hello, Denise.
I hope you joined summer vacation.
So now, what's the title of the fourth book? Do you have the fourth book title?
Yeah,
it's something Lewis can pronounce.
Yeah, it's going to be called Echoes of Ghostwood. It's pretty easy.
I can pronounce that one. There you go.
Let's start off with that, Lou.
Yeah, sorry. That's last keeper confused everybody in the middle.
Now, what's the first? Now, the first book is. I'm sorry, I couldn't understand what Lou was trying. What tripped me? The words Lou would trip me over. What was the first book name again?
Hold on 1 second. Aviva says Lewis can't pronounce normal words, so don't worry about it. Wow. Look at that.
I know Lou so long, I'm used to it now.
I just had no idea.
But Aviva.
Look, Doc, I just can't do it. Never learned to speak good.
And Denise is laughing. What was that?
I said the Rocky Balboa in the background's perfect. I mean, it's excellent. Whoever dropped that, well done.
So you say you like to call it, you don't mind if we call it Joe?
No, Joe.
Okay,
is fine,
so
yeah.
Joe, what was the name of the first book? Can you tell us a little bit about the hero? Is there one epic hero of the series, or like there are multiple characters?
Yeah, so it multiple characters for sure. There are 3 protagonists and 1 villain, and my epic fantasy is more of a dark epic fantasy. So the villain is just as important as the hero. But the first book is called The Last Keeper, and it begins with a young man who was born blind. But when he was 1 year old, he was visited by a wizard of sorts, and he touched his eyes and began to see. And then as he grew, he started to have visions like a prophet or a seer would. And he was sent to this school where this keeper, forbidden knowledge, these keepers learn to interpret these visions, and then they're sent out into the realm to meet with the kings and queens and emperors to give them their best understanding and interpretation of what the ancients want them to do. And my term for gods are ancients. And so he starts to have a dream, and his visions come in the form of dreams. It's called onoromancy. And sort of like like a medieval Edgar Casey, right? Where he would sleep and he would have all these dreams about things to come into the future. That's exactly what Damus, the main character, has. And he begins to see this fallen keeper, one of his own sect, who had violated one of the canons of their faith and was punished, cursed by his ancient for this. And he sees the return of this fallen keeper. And that's really the first that really kind of gets you right into the meat of it in the first chapter. And it's really, Damus versus Grey Taurus, the Mad, the fallen keeper.
And that word you used, onoromancy, did I say it right?
Onoromancy, yes.
Is that word you made up, or that's what we actually look
No, that's what they call people that have visions of the future in their dreams. That's a legit word. It's hard. No one knows it unless you do the research on it.
Lou, don't even get on me because he could have announced the third book. So just hush. Hush now. Hush. Thank you.
I knew it. I just asked Aviva. Denise will tell you I knew that word.
Well, there you go.
Did.
No, you didn't.
There you go.
Yep. Yes, I did.
Score 1, Lewis.
There you go.
Anyway.
So
go ahead.
Are you going to stop at the 4 books, or are you going to keep going? I know you said that you have an end to this.
Yes.
But is it going to be a labor of love? Are you going to continue, or are you going to branch out and make this into a graphic novel, or are you going to conquer new worlds with this one story and bring it to other people that just don't because certain people don't like to read paperback. So are you planning on bringing this world to the next genre, to a graphic novel, to anime, to something like that?
I was going to ask audiobook.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right now you could get a paperback, you can get an audiobook, and you can get an ebook, and so it's already available pretty ubiquitously.
Do we have the link to that, Lou?
Pardon?
Yep, I'm going to pull it up at in the second hour,
so we can have our viewers. They want to go check it out, which I should strongly suggest. I know I am.
Yeah. But it's funny you mentioned a couple of things in there. I've always seen this as a potential graphic novel. In fact, when I started to share the manuscript with a number of folks in the beginning that were kind of my beta readers, that's exactly what they said. They would love to see this made into a graphic novel. Now, that said, I'm in the process right now of licensing the series to a blended reality gaming company that's making an augmented reality, virtual reality game from it. So that I'm hoping as they develop that, we'll have some sort of an alpha to take a look at by the end of the year, and them selling this sometime in 2023, which I'm really excited about. It might be the first. I don't know if it's the first, but I think that from where I sat, that opportunity was just as exciting as a graphic novel would be. I mean, I don't know if you guys are big gamers. I'm a big graphic novel guy, big comic guy, but the gaming stuff I know is really sexy right now, and there you go. Real sexy right now. So for someone it was flattering that someone would think that after they read the first book that might be something that they could turn into a video game that people would enjoy. And I'm glad we're heading down that path. So it's just started a couple of months ago, and we're about a year away from a launch of that. But I'll keep you guys apprised on if you like that kind of stuff.
Definitely.
Definitely.
I'm actually piggyback off something that Louis just did. Had it been a comic studio, I mean, I understand. I don't want you to
no spoilers,
no spoiler or anything. But do you have idea for someone like a comic transferring to comic form or something?
No, this guy, the guy that approached me about the video game is the CEO of a company called Melderverse, and they meld like reality with augmented and virtual reality, and that's the name of the company. The comic stuff, when I went out to a few friends in the beginning, several of them are artists themselves, and they started to voluntarily draw the characters as they saw them, as I described them in the book. And then when I got them, it was interesting because it was almost like reading a storyboard, and flipping it over and things like that. And I said to myself, it reads like a comic. I think it's very descriptive. I think it's immersive, and it's things that, but I don't know if anybody's ever taken something that was as dense as this and really made it into. I mean, that's got to be a heck of a challenge for somebody, because you only get this much real estate when you're writing a graphic novel to say some of the things that need to be said, and a lot of the emotion and a lot of the world is portrayed out through the illustration of it. And in my world, it's the inverse of that, where I have to build that through description without boring you to death. You're not reading something, but I'm actively showing you things, and instead of telling you them as you're reading it. So, I would love to see it go through a creative, iteration and see if anybody wants to pick it up. But I think that's it. I would guess that's probably a pretty good place for this if someone were to do it.
All right, let's talk about the covers of the books. The covers of the books are just incredible.
Yes, they are gorgeous.
Viewing them, and when we pulled the website up in the second part of our hour, how did you choose each cover? How did that artwork come about? And I mean, especially the Last Keeper, the cover for that is just friggin', it's creepy. And
now,
book 3 is really.
I'm just curious.
Yeah. So actually, it was a bit of both. I had an illustrator put them together, and I explained to her what I thought would make for a striking cover, but I never thought it was going to be as good as it is. I get compliments on the cover all the time. Yeah, and the woman who did it, her name is Larch Gallagher. She works out of the UK and did an excellent job. And then she talked to my publisher, and the two of them just iterated on it and perfected it. I thought the first run was good, and I shared it with a bunch of my geek friends, right? Like I wanted them to see, because in truth, I think that you sell more books if your book looks like what it's supposed to be, right?
Oh,
So
by all means.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know about you, Lou, but I have bought some books when I start. I buy mainly from the cover, and then I'll read the back, and then sometime I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed. 'Cause I'll be like, this does not flow what I expecting from the cover. So to hear you say that is definitely, definitely.
Yeah, so you'll find hints at what's going on in the book if you look at the cover in the back, right? Like you see this young man in the clouds with white eyes, and that's the main character, right? That's Damus. When he was born blind, his eyes were white, but even when he was given this unnatural sight, this magical sight by his ancient, his eyes stayed white. So he's hard to forget, right? And you have this ominous look of him looking down, using his powers from the clouds. And then you've got on this bridge, this silhouetted hero, a guy named Sir Ritter of Vulcaneer, who's a very important character, sort of muscle to Damus's brain power. And he's there to, to defend not only Damus, but the realm. And he has this magical connection with the falcon that's flying out of the book at you.
Okay, I was going to ask. I wasn't sure that falcon had anything. I thought it just like added to the.
No, so like where you see Damus's hands coming together around this magic, the falcon flying out of it. It's kind of, if you're familiar with, I'll use the Dungeons and Dragons term and sort of a Wiccan term called a familiar. These are pets that witches or warlocks have that oftentimes grant them special powers, and they'll use a rat to spy on somebody, or they'll use a bird. In Ritter's case, he can see through the bird's eyes, and it allows him to track and hunt. And then with his troops, it allows them to be more effective. So it's hard to surprise them because they've got this war falcon flying above them and watching out for them.
Does the falcon have a name?
Yeah, the falcon's name is Storm. And Storm got its name because its eyes look like that of a storm.
Oh, wow.
And I thought that was cool. But there's a little backstory to that, because I had a guy, a Dungeons and Dragons character, who had a falcon, and the falcon's name was Icarus. But one of the bad guys in the book is named Incanus. So I couldn't have Icarus and Incanus. So I had to think of a new name. And then I was just looking at it. I said, you know what? Storm just sounds perfect for him. And it stuck. And even when I'm talking, sometimes when I was still playing the character, I would call it Storm instead of, Icarus. When I was playing, and vice versa, I would write Icarus as opposed to Storm. There's a lot of editing around that, but I worked it out in the end.
All right.
When you're writing a certain character, do you hear their voice in your head?
Yes and no. Like some of the characters are my old characters, so of course I hear their voice in the head because it was my voice. In other cases, they have a mind of their own, right? Like I'll sometimes write a character and think that I'm heading in the right place, and then as I'm writing, an idea pops up and I'm like, oh, that character would never do this, but they would really do that. And then they jump it, and I kind of rewrite things. And even though I love to plan, sometimes, the unexpected happens and it just kind of flows, right? It's the creative nature of these kind of things. And so, I hear their voice in terms of what I think more of a personality based voice, where it's like, this is what they would do, or this is how they would react to things, as opposed to, a true voice in their head.
All right, now let's get back to the artwork. You had said that a lot of your artist friends had come up to you with their own rendition. Did you have your own rendition in your head? And when your artist friends brought it up, you were like, oh my God, that's how I saw it. Or did you look at them and say, well, that's kind of the way I saw it, but not really? Did you reject anything?
Yeah. So of course, right. And it was 50-50 in all honesty. Sometimes when you explain something, the artist is like a sketch artist for the police, right? And they get it. You don't know how they get it, but they get it, and it's tap dead center. It's like right on. And other times you explain it to them, and you keep going back and reiterating. it's a process, right? And part of it is they're not in your head, or they may not be familiar with your genre. And so when it's easy for me to explain, when I say the word elf, I know what an elf looks like. But if someone hasn't read Tolkien or Brooks, or has played a game where there's elves, it might mean something else. Are they 4 foot tall, or are they 7 foot tall? Are they Tolkien elves, or are they something else? And in my world, they're my own types of elves, right? So it's like they have a certain look to them that I see in my head. And what I've done is, I'll scour the internet looking for samples, like examples of things that I think like parts of him will look like. And then you hope that they can kind of Frankenstein monster it together, right? And put something, on paper that looks 80% of the way. And at that point, you're going with it. You feel it, because there's one character in the novel called the Antlered Man. And he's a bad guy, right? And he stands like 10 foot tall. He's got these like winged antlers like a deer off of this skull head. And he has these cloven hooves like a goat. And sometimes he runs on all fours, and other times he stands up like a man. He's like a torso of a man. You give all that information to somebody, that's a heavy thing for them to kind of take in. And this guy, Jeff Jarrett, that I worked with in Florida, he came as a recommendation as one of my friends.
Not the Jeff Jarrett.
I'm saying
not the Jeff Jarrett from WWF, WWE, a different Jeff Jarrett,
Okay.
And Jeff put this thing together, and it was exactly what I saw. And I had only talked to him, like it was one random like Skype call or something. And
do you have any pictures? Like, you able to show any of these right now? I mean, I don't want you to get out of your seat and like.
Yeah, I don't have them.
Well, we're gonna take a 30-second break because we got to get paid, Ali. And then when we come back, we're gonna pull up the website and have some more fun with Joe. So we're gonna see what's on the website. We're gonna take 30 seconds for our sponsors to pay some bills, and we'll be right back. H Squared Collectibles, 39 Wedgwood Drive, Suite 232, inside the Slater Mill Mall. Pokemon every Saturday mornings. Become a Pokemon Master. Magic the Gathering every Friday night. Comics, toys, vinyls, diecast, and more. Find your inner hero at CH Square Collectibles. Proud sponsor of the Angry Geeks show. And we're back with Joe. We got the website all queued up, and we're going to bring that up, right, guys? Okay. And wow, there it is right there.
Yeah,
there's a lot we can do in 30 seconds.
All there. But I'm telling you, man, he nailed it. Like, that is exactly what I thought it was going to be. I mean, the man was just right on top of it.
That's awesome. That is. And what's his name again?
His name is the creature's name is the Antlered Man. Jeff Jarrett is the artist who did it for me out of Florida. He was referred to me by my friend Jim Stowagner, who does 3D modeling, stuff like that. Dude he was right on top of it.
That is just like, that was sick. Can we see it one more time?
Yeah. And I'm telling you, man, like, this is the kind of stuff when you see these things, or you see like this is a picture of Incanus Druid, evil guys, right?
Joe, put it more in the center. That's just
a villain.
Incredible. Yeah, this is a villain. He's a bone elf that hunts one of the main characters, and he just, and you can see what I would describe as sort of like the graphic novel nature of this, right? Where
it's for sure. I mean, This does not look like a hardcover. It does not look like a paperback. This looks like a board game / graphic novel, something that's going into production to be an animated series. That artwork is just friggin' phenomenal.
It is. I wish I had the talent to do it. I don't. And when I talk to those guys, whether it was my illustrator for my covers or whether it was the guy who put these together, and some of these are now being created in a 3D realm for the video game. So you're going to see these things come to life when you put on your Oculus glasses in a year. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can see someone, if I just don't know anything about graphic novels. That's not what I do. I read them, but I don't do them. So, I mean, I think they both hit a home run, whether it's the covers or whether it's the characters in these two.
All right. Speaking of home run, we're going to pull up your website right now, and we're going to have you explain exactly
Lou,
what we got. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, and I do apologize to everyone. I'm being text something that I cannot ignore. I do apologize.
All right, I'm going to remove you from the screen.
I do apologize, everybody.
All right, just take a quick break. All right, so Joe, I'm going to pull up your website.
Sure.
And you can explain exactly what we got.
Yep. So that first page is the capture page. That makes you give me your email and buy my book.
Okay. All right, now Goodreads right here. And...
yeah, but if you click out of that and go to the top there and look at if I'd slide over to where it says the realm, that's going to be the sexy part for your viewers and your listeners here.
Okay.
So I have a map that's created in the back and a little bit of a description of each of the realms. Different baronies or provinces. And my IT guy is also a designer, and he put together these sigils, these coats of arms for the various houses in the realm. So what you're looking at there is Thronehelm, which is sort of like the king's seat inside the kingdom of Warminster. So the kingdom is made up of 7 baronies, and Thronehelm is where sort of like the capital city of the 7 baronies. And so, as you flip through these, you'll be able to see, the various sigils from each of the different houses. So Queen's Chapel here, Hunter's Manor, Foghaven Vale, as you continue to go down. And each of these have their own, coats of arms, and they mean something to each of those, each of those baronies. And so, what I've done is, I know this is a lot of depth, but I think it really helps with the story, especially one that's 4 novels long. You get to know them in the same way you get to know, the Starks and the Lannisters, if you like Game of Thrones, or in the same way you get to, look at some of the, the Riders of Rohan and all these other folks that are done in sort of like these Tolkien realms. I thought that was important, as we develop these folks. And so you're seeing a lot of these different things. And I tried to make the banners unique. And I just had one of these guys that was able to kind of, use his skills to put this together and lay them on top of a map somewhere. And I think that just adds detail to the realm and gives you a sense of where you're going to be and where you can look. And one of the constructive criticisms I got from a number of folks from the first book is they want to see a family tree and they want to see a map in the next book. And I've got both of them coming. So, I listen to my readers and I'm going to provide them with some of those things, even though some of them are available. Like here, you can go and check this stuff out on the website and learn separately. I think it's important to embed them in the book.
Well, I mean, you're right here. We're looking at Castle Shire, and it says, known as the Jewel of the South, the capital city of the realm is home of the prominent castles of elegant places, ivy-covered mansions, and spiraling towers. Dude, I mean, this for just 4 books and going into a video game and other things, this is just amazing. You created this entire universe here, and it's like you need to bring this into our world of comic book conventions because you would definitely kill it.
I would love to do
insane.
that. Yeah, I'm starting to do that. Once I think the books are out, I'll be doing a lot more of the Comic Cons because it's hard to sell a single book. But it's easier to sell a set because people will know that the series is in place. But I think what I've done is so graphic and so detailed that it'll fit there. And I even have, and sorry about McLeod in the background. That's Connor
okay.
in the background because there's someone outside. But at the end, what I think I'd like to do is I'm going to have various scrolls made up as giveaways for people that come to my table, talk to me, that they can have a scroll of whatever coat of arms that they want, or they can buy a larger one. I've got some video. I got a video guy doing a book trailer right now that just is, it's out of sight. It's like a Star Wars movie, man. It's just, it's a lot of fun. And it's not what I expected going into this, but it has a life of its own, man. I love it.
And Aviva says, website link, please. Guys, pull that up for Miss Aviva. And there you go, Aviva. It's right there.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Just head on over there. Aviva is a super Angry Geeks fan right there.
Nice to
So
meet you.
there you go. Now, Aviva also goes to many comic book conventions. And Aviva, please answer in the comment sections. Thank you. Aviva says thank you. This would just be a killer there, especially if you had cosplayers dressed up as some of your characters. That would just be insane.
Yeah, I mean, you know how important cosplay is to those conventions. And
you think?
Yeah, I mean, the ones I've been to, they add so much chemistry. The kids love it, first of all, but also us geeky adults love it too. And whether you're dressed up or you're taking pictures with someone who's dressed up, it just there's an energy that comes with that. And you're absolutely right. I think that would be just a great way of kind of introducing the series, as well as kind of introducing some of the characters, where people will go up to them and ask them who they are and why they're here, and then to be directed to my table. That's what it is. The business side of it is come over and buy something. But I'm a sucker sometimes, and I end up giving away stuff because I want people.
Oh God! Send some over. We'll get free. We'll give giveaways on the Angry Geeks because when we do live shows,
happy to do that.
when we have live shows for sure. Wow, now the train of thought is gone now. My God, it happens all the time. Forget
conventions, yeah.
Aviva comes back and says, definitely having the video and something to interact and having something to bring people in will help you sell at a Comic-Con for sure.
Yeah. My IT guy gave me this idea about bringing in a flat screen and having it behind me showing the book trailers, as well as the different art that's popping up, instead of just having a static sign like many people have at a Comic-Con. Nothing wrong with that, but to add a little bit of pop to it, and I think that's just a great idea. Not all convention halls can accommodate that kind of power. Like, I have to be the right booth, the right place. But I agree with Aviva. I think that's right on par with something you want to do to bring people in and have a chance to read this stuff.
This whole universe here is just incredible, and the amount of time it took you to build it all. The website alone with the maps is just insane. You say join us here. Is this for fans to join a different sect, a different house, or is it just to join your following, as in follow Dragon Moon Press, or what exactly is join? Join the website. Explain join us.
Yeah, so join us for now is me getting your email so that I can provide I get it's the business side of it, business end, where you send me your email, I'll send you stuff. And sometimes that's a newsletter, sometimes that's announcements, sometimes that's a sneak peek at what we're doing. And I'm trying to build, a way, because when you sell a book on Amazon, they don't tell you where you sold it, right? So the only way that you can capture those things is you meet people or they write to you. And this is a way for me to write to them and be proactive. But down the road, you're exactly right. In the video game, when you enter the realm of Warminster, you'll be able to choose which house that you want to build your fiefdom under, and there'll be different levels of participation. So you can come in as a peasant hero, you can come in as a knight, you can come in as a baron, or you can come in as a duke. And a lot of that will be how much time you want to invest in the game, whether that's your own money or your own time. And as you earn experience points in the game, they'll translate outside of the game to retailers that are giving you discounts on the stuff that they're giving you too. But you can earn weapons within the game, just like you're going to earn in any other game. You're going to meet the characters in the game, but you get to choose, hey, do you want your character to be from Foghaven Vale and be a little bit on the naughty side, or do you want to be on the good guy side and show up at Castle Vulcaneer? And those are the kind of things that you'll be able to decide, and a lot of folks will be able to pick that up and understand where they want to land based on reading the novels, and whatever characters they like, they can choose to come from wherever they came from.
I heard you. Yes, only I would have Ali's ringtone as Shaft.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. He's a bad mother. Shut your mouth.
I do apologize. Sally Mae wanted her money, and Sally Mae called and was me.
I thought I had my cell phone on silent there for a second,
and I thought you did too. I just like, this cell phone. I do apologize, everybody.
Well, everyone knows that your ringtone is Shaft.
Yes.
So I mean, James is Wonder Woman, for crying out loud, and yours is Shaft. So what? And Raymond Ramos is Blade. So I mean, yeah, it's easy for me to remember. No. Roses, it says wife. Wife is calling, so I'm good. So totally good. Totally good.
Well played, sir. Well played.
Thank you. With the houses, I'm like so totally now into merchandising. Are you gonna have flags for each of the houses?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I'm like seeing this right now, and I'm like pumped for you by going over this website and just, I mean, for you had me with just your opening, with your promo package to get you on the show, but now just looking at your website and going over it for a while, I mean, you have tons of merchandise here that done correctly is just incredible.
Yeah, we've got the plan is to make, like, I have a vendor that makes homemade scrolls. I've got a
Yeah, you were saying.
yeah, and he's going to help me with the various coats of arms and offering those as either giveaways or a much larger one. And then you can also see sort of like a Tolkien like map. Instead of Middle Earth, it'll be of the realm of Warminster, something that you can do. My IT guy put together a copy of the map and the all of the coats of arms, and he made it into a very large computer mat stuff that you do. And I've got a little tricky device. He came up with this great idea. He said, wouldn't it be cool if when you signed your books, you left a wax seal and stamped it as your own sort of certificate of authenticity? And when we tried that, it was too unwieldy, right? Like, first of all, it takes time, and you've got lines of people and you want to go through it. So what we did was we ended up sending out, we had a like just an ink stamp made, and it has my author logo on it. It's basically a dragon with JVH in the middle, and I stamp it in this like vermilion red ink and slap it right next to my signature. And so, like, if you see a book that has one of those, that you know that those people actually met me, because I've got this basically this certificate of authenticity that I've stamped in there. And so we got some creative ideas for that when we get to the convention stage. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was my next question. I'm sorry, Ellie. My next question is, we do have a lot of our listeners and a lot of our viewers, because this will be airing on public access television afterwards, that have contacted. We have other authors on, and we also had artists and creators on that did reach out and say, hey, I know you're not going to be in a convention in our area, but you're out here, you're out there, you're in England, you're overseas. Can you autograph this book? I just bought it off of Amazon. I'm going to ship it to you. Would you be willing to do that for some of our listeners now?
Absolutely, I would. I love the concept of it. I don't mind. I ship everywhere. I've shipped places. In the first week of selling my book, I had shipped to, I think, 7 different countries, places where I never thought, I was starting conversations with people in Romania, in New Zealand, in India. I have a lot of Indian readers. I think it's a really cool market for the kind of stuff I'm doing. And I'd be more than happy to provide any kind of giveaways, that kind of stuff included. I've got some swag bags that we put together too. And, everything from small little bookmarks all the way up to, some other stuff that we've got that I'd be more than happy to share with your followers.
Awesome. Aviva says, bring a battery. There's always ways to accommodate for yourself. I believe she's going back talking about being at a comic book convention.
Yep.
And yeah, definitely. Ali, you have a quick question before we get to question of the week.
No, you made me forget. Thank you again, though.
All right, let's get to question of the week before we get to where we can find Joe's books. Next week's question of the week is, of course, brought to you by Alternate Universe, LLC, Milford and New Haven, Connecticut, owned by the one and only Eric Yako. And let's see what this week's question is. Do you TikTok? Ali, do you TikTok?
Yes, but not in that kind of sense of doing the hip dance as the kids do. I usually just promote my artwork, or I'll just respond to a question that someone asked on TikTok. Universal.
Okay.
And like, is that Thor I'm listening to?
No, that's McLeod. You'll never hear Thor. He's a silent killer. He's like a wolf. He sneaks up on you. That's I've got a red fox lab retriever. He's my hunting dog, and whenever anybody walks outside, he knows it and will scream at them from here. And then when you meet him, he just cuddles with you.
Okay.
Joe, do you? But isn't. Yeah.
Joe, do you TikTok?
I do, but very.
Oh, poorly. You do. Oh,
very poorly. I've just started it, so I only have a couple hundred followers. But I broke down a couple of months ago, and I decided to do it only because it seems like that's the direction everything's heading, and you got to reach readers. And
yes, you do.
There's a lot of folks that are on TikTok that do the book reviews. So okay. Yeah, I'm in.
So what was your first TikTok? Was it funny, or was it about?
Oh my God! My first TikTok had nothing to do with me. The best part about it, I was in. This is no joke. I was in the post office, and I had a stack of books that I was mailing. It was on a weekend, and there was a brigade of Ghostbusters that were there heading to a convention. And the Ghostbuster guy came and pulled up in his Ghostbuster car. He's standing in line in his full Ghostbuster regalia. And
Tim Wiley.
What's his name?
A friend of ours. Probably.
This guy was from Pittsburgh. This guy was from Pittsburgh, but he was originally from Florida. And he had moved up here. And so he started a Pittsburgh. I forget the name of the squadron they had. But long and short of it was, we struck up an immediate friendship. We started talking in line. You would have thought, everybody standing in line was looking at us like, you guys are nuts. And it was just total nerd speak for like 15 minutes going back and forth. And then when I went outside, there was his Ghostbuster mobile was there. So I took a picture of it and I made a TikTok video of him promoting the Ghostbuster folks. And that was my first TikTok video.
Now with social media and this is like the new ad print tool that people use. Lou, how do you use it?
I do imitations of Macho Man. Okay. And I'm just a goofball on TikTok. Of course, we do promote the Angrygeeks, but it's all just having fun and being goofy, lip syncing Macho Man interviews. That's what I do. You know that. You've seen them.
Yeah, I usually flip through them and just say, let's make Lou happy. Let's hit the heart.
Make sure you like them, whatever.
Well, that Jamie does the same thing. Jack Purcell does the same thing, and the kids do the same. Thanks a lot, Ali. Nice for the support. Thank you.
I like them. I hit like. I don't watch them. I just hit like it.
He's honest.
You only made 10, Lou, so I'll go back tonight and watch
I only made 10 because I'm busy doing all this other stuff. Like I said, I need a vacation.
Like this. Ooh, this was your best one, Lou.
You're horrible. Absolutely horrible. Why do I put up with you every day? Why? And Jack. And Jamie. Why do I? Because I got no other friends. That's why, except for you three.
Now, so did you say TikTok? Can you give everybody your TikTok, Joe? So we go.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's my social channels are pretty easy. It's JV Hilliard Books, and you can find that on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter. And then my Facebook is just JV Hilliard. You can find me there, and then of course the website's jvhilliard.com. It's about as simple as it gets. Nothing sexy. Unfortunately, and my wife said too, nothing sexy.
Once again, the link for the website is right there, and we will be streaming that link to the website on the Angrygeeks website, on our website, and throughout our social media pages.
And not only can you get book, but you also can get audiobook also, Case.
Yeah, we can go. My books can be found pretty much anywhere. If you want a book, you can go to dragonmoonpress.com. You can go to Amazon. You can go to any other 30 different distribution channels for a paperback. If you want ebook, same thing. And then if you like the audiobook stuff, anywhere from Audible to Apple Books to Kobo, Roku, you could just find it pretty much anywhere audible books are sold. Audio.
Now, is it you reading the books on audio or is someone else narrating?
No, I've got a narrator who's pretty. Victor Bavine is his name, and Victor is well known for being the voice of Dritz Duorden from the Dark Elf trilogy.
Okay.
And he and I struck up a fast friendship, and he's going to do all of my books, and that guy is top shelf.
Awesome. And do you have any up and coming book signing coming up?
So yes, I do. In fact, this weekend I am at Four Horsemen Comics and Games for Free RPG Day, and I'm going to be giving out a number of free autographed books of The Last Keeper there. Four Horsemen Comics are a regional comic book store here in the tri-state area, so like Pittsburgh, Ohio, West Virginia, southwestern Pennsylvania. You'll see them there, and I'll be there tomorrow night for their D&D groups, and then on Saturday for Free RPG Day.
All right, so guys, when you go to Four Horsemen, let them know that Angrygeeks sent you.
And hold up the sign, symbol of excellence. But you, so Joe, are you a wrestling fan? I have to ask, because you picked out Macho, you picked out Triple H, you picked out the Drew McIntyre stuff, and you're giggling every time I do make a reference about something. Are you a fan?
Of course I am. I love wrestling. Since the first, WrestleMania, right? I was really young for it, but I remember it. And Four Horsemen of all, I mean, that is classic. I'm talking about the Luger Four Horsemen. When he was like the junior Four Horsemen was okay, but you had Ole and Arn, of course, Tully and Flair, and then Luger makes his way in because they had to find a way to get him in there too, and it worked out fine. And I know that's might be sacrilege to some because that's old school NWA, not WWF.
Not really, because they beat Luger up afterwards.
Yeah, I loved that whole, like, the Dusty Rhodes, Tully Blanchard angle, the Ric Flair stuff. I mean, that was just great. Nothing against Hogan, and of course, my favorite wrestler of all time is Roddy Piper. I couldn't get enough of Roddy. He owned for me, with the Piper's Pit and the Jimmy Superfly Snuka, the coconut to his head, and
the coconuts.
My God, that was my childhood, man. So yes, I am a wrestling fan. I don't watch as much as I used to, but I do go to a friend's house every now and then for a pay-per-view because they get the Peacock stuff or whatever they do, and so I don't have to pay, but I buy pizza when we go. So yeah, I'm still I'm into it.
All right, well, just remember,
learn to love it, learn to live with it. Diamonds are forever, and so is Ric Flair. Woo!
RVD, like I'm JV8. I got to do this and wear a shirt.
You got to do this. All right, so really quick before we wrap up for the hour, where can they find your books besides Amazon, besides the website? Because I know our listeners are going to be contacting you. They're going to want this stuff besides Dragon Moon. Thank you, guys. Bring that one up, dragonmoonpress.com. If they do want to get a book autographed, where should they reach out to you? Should they
just reach out on the website, send me an email. My email is joe@jvhilliard.com. It's about as easy as it comes. And if you want one, just shoot me an email. I'd be more than happy to drop one in the mail to you, whether you're here in the continental United States or if you're international. It doesn't matter to me. I want you guys to read it. So I'd be honored that you're interested, and I'd be happy to accommodate.
All right, Joe, we want to thank you for hanging out with us for this past hour. Ali, anything to finish up before we go backstage?
Definitely support this man book. I mean, books. Also, be sure to show up to the book signing at Four
Horsemen Comics.
Yeah.
This is going to be tomorrow, and you're going to be there again
on Saturday for Free RPG Day.
All right. And I'll do a shameless plug of myself before I go. You don't mind?
Go right ahead.
Go to YouTube. Noenso Doodle is actually that name tag right over there. That is my YouTube channel coming. I have one video up, and trust me, before the month's over, you will see a bunch.
I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it
because it wasn't for you. In fact, I blocked you. So
I'm Lewis. That's Ali. We are here for Jamie. We are the Angry Geek Show. Please tune in every Monday night to watch us live stream as we record for you for your public access television stations in Greenfield and South Hadley. Every Tuesday night, you can find me with ink-slinging Jack Purcell. That's right, the Jack Purcell from Marvel and DC Comics, as we talk the Faces and Heels podcast with everything from WWE, AEW, and all of the independent professional wrestling. And I would like to thank our sponsors: Alternate Reality Entertainment, Alternate Universe LLC, CA Square Collectibles, and Blood, Sweat, and Tears Wrestling. I'm Lewis. That's Ali. For Jamie, and that's Joe. Go buy his book. What are you waiting for? Go. We'll see you guys next week. And I'll see you
Come on now. You can listen to while you're driving.
Yes. Yeah, you could. That's right.
All the news. Anyway. You really want to listen to boring news? Do you? No, you don't. You want to listen to Adventure. Cheer yourself.
See, he always got to talk. Last word all the time. But you know what?
I didn't even know you're
there. Stay safe, San Diego.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.